Main characters in horror typically have some kind of trauma within their life before actual horror they're about to face starts. Whether if it's Sydney from Scream when it comes to her mother's death, or Sam from A Quiet Place while she's dealing with the knowledge of knowing she has terminal cancer. These characters struggle with the events that happen in their lives way before the events of their movie, which adds to the effect of what they're going through and shows how they may have a disadvantage when it comes to the experience they're about to deal with. Side characters in the horror genre as well tend to survive with the main character or get saved by said main character. Randy from Scream, for example, would be a great visual idea of what this is by surviving with Sydney, and Eric from A Quiet Place Day 1 would also be a good example by being saved by Sam nearing the end of the film. Now, the stars of the movies. The villains and antagonists. Each horror film has a distinct villain, whether it's Michael Myers, Jason Voorhees, or the alien from the Alien series. Each horror film has a distinct killer or enemy that the main characters have to face, and they are truly unique to that universe. Even some enemies are really spiritual, like Sudoku from Ringu/Ring. To conclude, horror is varied to an extent with their characters and villains, while keeping the tension and the thrill when watching. They also try to keep things different, making sure that everything is distinct and unique to that specific respective film franchise or singular film. Settings in horror films are crucial for the mood and the tonal aesthetic to the whole movie, which is why it is perfect for horror, because it can also show the advantages and disadvantages when coming to the villains and characters. For example, 2019's Escape Room has a perfectly displayed different styles of rooms, whether they're more athletic or intelligent, while tormenting the main characters that we see along the way. Even in Scream, Stu's house is the perfect setting for the end fight, suiting Stu's and Billy's advantage when they take over buildings, since most of their victims were in their own houses or in a specific building where they know the layout to without getting caught while doing what they want to do. So the more the setting gives the same mood and tone. Tropes in horror are simple and can be very easily executed if used correctly. A common trope is the final girl trope, which is where a character survives despite the odds against them, and there are mountains of examples, such as Ellen Ripley from the Alien series, Sydney from Scream, Sally from Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Laurie Strode from Halloween, Zoe from Escape Room, and Reiko from The Ring 1998. There's also other tropes such as the "I'll be right back" trope.
Get another beer, you want one? Yeah, sure. I'll be right back!
Jump scares, found footage, abandoned places, weirdly open doors, splitting up, and many upon many more. Horror film storylines usually are in chronological order, with the occasional flashback, like in the Saw franchise, where we see a lot of backstory with characters and so forth. And each type of horror film has a particular opening, so you know what you're most likely going to get a taste of when you walk in. Like, for example, slasher movies. They tend to start out with the first kill of the movie, like Scream. Mise-en-scene is one of the most important features in films as a whole. But when it comes to horror, they have very specific features of how they can use their mise-en-scene. If we take The Train to Busan from 2016, the zombies and their design is kind of unique. They show features of blindness, exposed red and blue veins across their arms and face, rabbit-like noises and behavior, as well as being extremely quick on their feet. And even features when it comes to clothing in the character designs are also very important, and even can be very metaphorical. Like, if we go back to Quiet Place Day 1, Sam and Eric swap their jacket/cardigans near the end of the film, showing their trust and shows Sam's acceptance of her terminal cancer and helps Eric to survive as a result, which she also states in her final monologue. Iconography is defined as a recognizable symbol or imagery associated with a genre, theme, or character. So, what is iconography in horror films? Weapons, masked killers, screaming victims, ghosts and spiritual entities, and zombies, and plenty more. These are features we commonly see in horror films. Ghostface and Jason Voorhees, iconography. Knives, axes, guns, or anything similar, iconography. All of these well-known items or character signs are representation of iconography. When they have that specific iconography, they can perfectly demonstrate people's love towards them, because yeah, they're all unique to some extent, but with the same iconography features like knives and axes, or different features of the slashers, or different features of a alien-like being, like acidic blood for the alien in the Alien franchise, it makes people want to learn more. So therefore, mise en scene and iconography are powerful things within film as a whole, especially in horror, and they can help illustrate more about the story, characters, themes, and props throughout.